What's going on in the morning papers? Sports pages, here we go on Football Talks. Welcome along to the show, everybody. If you are live right now, get your thoughts into the live section. If you are catching up later on, please do get your thoughts into the comments below. Please give the video a like. Make sure you have subscribed to Football Talks as well. If you are new here and you recognise me, yes, that is me from FUTV. It's Adam. This is our other channel, so please get involved again. We do more of the Premier League and the rest of the Premier League on here on Football Talks. And we always do a segment on a Sunday morning after the FUTV show talking about everything that is going around the morning papers, the tabloids as it is. And we're getting into that today. Starting with Pep Guardiola not being too concerned with Erling Haaland. Now, we talked about City's result yesterday on the Roundup Premier League show we did on Football Talks, but injuries right now. We're at that stage of the season again. All of a sudden, all the big teams have started to get big injuries. Now, where Haaland isn't necessarily completely out, and what Pep Guardiola is saying in the papers this morning is the doctor has not given him any bad news. He doesn't think it's as bad. He has said that, look, he's seen Erling Haaland walking off the pitch smiling, and that is the most important thing to him, that he doesn't think it is that bad. If he's walking off and he's smiling, then he's okay. It's not. We obviously know that that's not the case. A smile could cover up 1,000 sins, really, couldn't it? And it could be covering up a bigger issue with Erling Haaland. He hasn't really. When you think about Haaland, when he came into Manchester City, he had a bit of a reputation of he had an injury record, didn't he, at Dortmund, and wasn't always fit. And City really haven't had too much of a Haaland issue when it's come to injuries so far. It would completely finish their season off in every sense. Like, the season is done anyway for City, I feel. They've got the FA Cup, and that's it. I don't think there's any chance that City could get past Real Madrid on Wednesday. There's no way that they can turn that result around in the Bernabeu. 3-2 down to Madrid already from that catastrophe of the last 10 minutes for Manchester City at the Etihad. But when you look at the rest of the season, like chasing top four, without Haaland, I don't know, Omar Mamouche had a great day, a great game yesterday. His first goals in English football, his first ever hat-trick in his professional career, but he's no Haaland. Are City better or worse off with Haaland? Because I think some of City's better football was played without Haaland. Obviously, they've won the treble with him, and he is one of the best strikers and finishers in town. But would Manchester City miss Haaland for the rest of this season with what they've got to compete for? With him, they lost to Madrid anyway, and I don't think even with him they're going to beat Madrid. And even a Manchester City fan would be hand on heart honest and just say, I can't see us turning that around. Madrid are just too good at the moment. Bellingham sent off in the weekend, by the way, as well, yesterday against Osasuna. He's not going to be cup tied. He's not going to be suspended for the Champions League or anything, but maybe Madrid, I don't know, a little bit off it. I don't think you could even look at Madrid in terms of their form in La Liga and then compare it to the Champions League. They always turn up for Champions League football, and I just don't see Madrid losing at the Bernabeu. Simple as. But for the rest of the season, would that curtail City's top four hopes if Erling Haaland was out? The stories are that it looks better than first thought, so hopefully it's okay. And Haaland can continue for Manchester City. But also, if he was, then what do Manchester City do? I mean, Mamouche is it's one of them moments, isn't it, where you look at it and you go, right, okay, Haaland might be out, and then on the day that he might be out, the forward that you just bought in gets a hat-trick. And you're thinking, oh, it's not that bad. Maybe it might give us another option anyway, something different to Haaland. And no matter which way you look at it, it still looks quite positive for Manchester City. But, yeah, injuries again at this time of the season, and the fixture pile-up is really creeping in. We've seen what's happened at Arsenal. Obviously, with Jesus going out at the turn of the year, another forward, Havertz, another forward, he's gone out now rest of the season. Manchester United have lost Lisandro Martinez. They've lost Amad Diallo. You can imagine if someone like Haaland went down and was out for the rest of the season, then 5 players for the big clubs in the Premier League that are all going to be missing for the rest of the season. It's coming about again, isn't it? And it is competitive, the Premier League, but the injury situation and everything going on and around the Premier League and the amount of games for professional footballers at the top level right now is going to be questioned yet again. And I just feel like it is going to start happening a little bit more right now. It's creeping in again. And injuries and problems with the fixture pile-up in the Premier League in particular, mixing in with teams in Europe, is getting a little bit too much. And we're starting to see everybody struggle again. City, a new guy looks like he will step up for them, I'm sorry to say, says Leo. Look, Mamouche is a fantastic striker. His form in the Bundesliga was outstanding. I think he was only second behind Harry Kane. And that says a lot. I mean, he's a brilliant player. And that's his first hat-trick in his career. In his football career as well. So, I mean, credit to him. His goals were good as well yesterday. They really were. But, again, I think it's Manchester City. Decent recruitment. Finding the right man. Getting the deal done in January. And that's where City have got an advantage on everybody else. They've actually got them players in. They're more settled. They probably won't spend as much in the summer. And these players now can go into pre-season, and maybe City can go on and hit the mark into next year as well. So I think when you look at it, good recruitment, and Haaland being missing just doesn't seem to be that much of an issue. It doesn't seem to be too much of a problem for Manchester City right now because they've got cover. First time that they've actually had another striker there. I mean, Alvarez was sold in the summer and no one was brought in, and everyone was criticising City. I think they have got it too late. They should have really, I thought, invested in the summer and covered Alvarez. And I think they're too far behind now to really challenge on any major front that they would hope to be challenging in. But good recruitment again for Manchester City in Mamouche in January. I mean, I was looking at him from the United side of things, and I knew he was a great striker. And he's just going to step right in there. I said it before. The day that Haaland looked like he might have an injury, look, he might not. He doesn't look that bad. But even if Haaland was injured, on that same day, your other forward scores a hat-trick. Sometimes it just all falls into place, doesn't it? It really does. But in terms of United, like we covered yesterday, Ahmad definitely out for the rest of the season. Catastrophic news for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim. Unfortunately, you've just got to look at it and go, again, rotten luck. Rotten luck at the wrong time of year. But yes, there is other news on the striker front as well. In terms of Ahmad, he will undergo surgery next week on his ankle. There is some stories coming around from Europe and European papers saying that Manchester United are ready to make a huge bid for former Manchester City striker Julian Alvarez in the summer transfer window. Come on. According to the reports, Alvarez has been frequently mentioned in the Manchester United offices and is a top target for the summer. I think, was it Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or was it Ralph Rangnick for Manchester United that was talking about Alvarez? I can't see it happening. I mean, Atletico spent a fortune. Was it 70 million in the summer on him? I can't see United taking him away. I really don't think that is going to happen. But that is reports coming from some of the tabloids over in Europe anyway, just to add to our morning paper round. Most of the strikers in the Prem are injured, says we can't compete. Interesting, like we're talking about the injuries and how it is mainly strikers and forwards right now that are pulling up with injuries. You look at Solanke, he's out for Spurs for a considerable amount of time. All the players that we just mentioned, Jesus, Havertz, Haaland, Ahmad, there's lots. They all seem to be the forwards as well. Really interesting. Brendan says, honestly, don't write City off. If they beat Liverpool, they won't lose another game. Stranger things have happened. I just don't think they have that same intensity in their game. Newcastle never win at the Etihad. Corinthians, welcome to the Members Club, gifted by Tom. Thank you, Tom. They just don't win at the Etihad. So I'm not getting carried away with City returning. I look at the Arsenal game, the Madrid game, 8 goals conceded in 2 games. It's nice to come back and beat Newcastle 4-0, but Eddie Howe got that completely wrong yesterday. Completely wrong. So, yeah, I'm not getting carried away with it. I don't think City can mount a challenge. It is a tough game for Liverpool. They're finding it hard right now. And a big game again today against Wolves. We'll see how they do after that game against Everton. Have they calmed down from the Merseyside derby? Interesting game, that one today. I missed all of the other Premier League action that's going on. Obviously, Manchester United at Spurs. By the way, again, I will be on Big Up later on with the watch-along for that one. And then back on YouTube on FUTV later, everybody. If you didn't get that news earlier on from the FUTV stream. Cogging my nose up and everything. I'm managing. I'm going to get there. But, yeah. Biggest content day of the month, and it's when I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Would love to get to him, and we had a chance, but that ship has sailed in terms of Alvarez, says Leo. Liverpool are rattled, says Jonathan. I think they are, Jonathan. You are right, mate. I do believe that Liverpool are sort of starting to feel the pressure in the Premier League right now. Other teams feeling the pressure, I think, and when you look at, and we spoke about this yesterday, poor result for Aston Villa, but a story in the tabloids around, of initial interest, Manchester United fans, Marcus Rashford. Manchester United exile Marcus Rashford decides on his next club, and it is bad news for Aston Villa. So we all know that Marcus Rashford and Manchester United and Villa have an agreement in place on his loan, and there is an option for a 40 million permanent deal in the summer when the loan finishes. But the Mirror reporting this morning, Marcus Rashford could leave Manchester United for good in the summer after joining Aston Villa on loan earlier this month, and there is still a chance he gets his dream move abroad. Marcus Rashford is said to still have his heart set on joining Barcelona, even though the Spanish Giants have have insisted they weren't desperate to sign him in the transfer window. Rashford, 27, does not appear to have any sort of future at Manchester United after being frozen out by Ruben Amorim and agreed to sign on loan for Aston Villa this month. It's thought that the 60-cap England star will weigh up his options again once his temporary spell at Aston Villa is done, and while it remains to be seen if Villa pull the trigger on a permanent move, Rashford seemingly still has his eyes on the switch abroad. So yeah, that's pretty much where Rashford's head is at right now. Still thinks he's bigger than what he actually is, and I think a big decision will come in the summer for Rashford. We all hope, and I think Villa fans, Manchester United fans, England fans, anybody for Marcus Rashford, looking at him personally, we all want him to do really well. I want him to have multiple options going into the summer. Aston Villa right now, Unai Emery, I think they're getting away with it. I think because they're into the knockout phases of the Champions League, they've been poor this season, Villa, from last season. The drop-off has been quite big. I don't think Ollie Watkins has been as good. Losing Duran was massive for them. And bringing in, Asensio and Marcus Rashford, you would have thought more than capable to cover for Duran. But realistically, when you look at their league form and you look at everything that's going on with Villa, I don't think they've had as good a season as what people are making out. First season in the Champions League, I think, has covered up quite a few cracks in Unai Emery's system. And now he's starting to get a few injuries as well. I think playing the same team and burning players out a little bit is in action right now. And it's getting a little bit like that with Aston Villa. 10 men Ipswich and not getting the win at home. Not good if you're chasing Champions League football. I actually feel like Villa are going to miss out on European football altogether this season. Whichever way you look at it, with their rich owners and what they want and the ambition of that football club, you have to say that that's a failure. That is a failure, isn't it, for Aston Villa? Liverpool was going well until they lost. Sorry, the typos on that, Brendan, have killed me there. Sorry, mate. Liverpool was going to will the lost last year and won nothing. After watching Liverpool's FA Cup defeat, their squad isn't that strong. If they get injuries, they will fall. Going back to the injury conversation at the top of the show again, like Liverpool have got away with it a little bit, haven't they? They really have. Leo says, did anyone see the new guy Rashford at Villa? Shame he can't play like that for us. He will never play for Man United again. But as people were raving about Rashford's half a game, what he created, his dribbles, Villa still didn't win. And again, we're not bothered about Villa winning. We want Rashford to do what he's doing right now. He spat his dummy out because he wanted more from Manchester United. Rashford needs to do well for his England career and his hopes of making it into Tuchel's side. Be interesting to see if he does continue this sort of... it's not brilliant, but it's better for Rashford. If Rashford continues this form for Villa now, what Tuchel does next month in the internationals, in the spring internationals, will he be called back up? That's going to be interesting to see where Tuchel goes. I think all eyes on England come next month, and Tuchel's first squad pick for England. I think with everything going on in the Premier League, the fixtures and transfer window, everyone's forgot that England have got a new manager in place. And everybody's going to be looking to see what he does and who he picks in his first ever England lineup or call-up. So let's see, that's going to be interesting. Adam, you got some honey to drink before the watch-along? You might only make it to half-time. I know, Louise, it's going to be a hard one. I think you'll see the calmest Adam on a watch-along today. I'm not expecting much, and I can't overdo it. I'm going to have to be careful in Kaz's game this lunchtime, actually. So I know what I'm like on the sidelines. When you're shouting across the pitch, it's cold outside as well. I do feel like it's going to be a tough old day anyway. But you're all here with me, so I'll get through. We'll battle on through it. We're nearly 2 shows down anyway. We've got, I think, another 5 to go. It's crazy. So, yeah, we've got the warm-up, then we've got the watch-along, then we've got the reaction, then we've got the live reaction with Jay, and then we've got the goal reaction show on Big Up. So, double Big Up show today. Quadruple FUTV, and now on Football Talks as well. Lovely. Hi Adam, I watched a lap yesterday and I think he's getting better. I wasn't sure on him at first. Another target for United, possible striker target in the summer. United says there's still time to show it, but I don't think he displaces Rafinha in terms of Rashford going to Barcelona. No, I'm with you on that one. Apparently there are bids being readied for Rafinha from Barcelona for the summer. So, going to be interesting to see where Barca go. Because obviously Lewandowski is ageing. Rafinha, obviously with his contract and where he's at down the line in that now. Do they keep hold of him? Do they invest into him? Let no one claim that he did great. It is the same running into blind ends and running into brick walls and shooting erratically in terms of Rashford. Let's see what else we've got in here before we move on. Bilbao, Fiorentina and Rangers to win at 5-1 this morning. Good one, mate. Good bet to have. A few more comments coming in. Let's hope Adam does not try all the home remedies suggested today. No. You can have too much. You can. Please give the video a like, everybody. We're creeping up to that 50 like mark. I'm going to get into other news that is going on and around all of the papers this morning. Scouring through everything. Obviously, we just talked about Marcus Rashford there. The injury situation with Haaland and Ahmad as well. Arsenal still seeking that striker. Looking into the let's just say the free agent market right now. And who is actually available. Is anyone, do you reckon, going to pick up Paul Pogba next month when he can play again? Do you reckon Paul Pogba is going to come back into the Premier League? No, he's not a striker, and we're talking about Arsenal, but there is another article in the papers this morning. Arsenal left to roost snubbing $830,000 striker loan deal as he hits a hot streak. Arsenal were offered the chance to sign Rando Kolo Muani on loan from Paris Saint-Germain in January, but Mikel Arteta could not provide the Frenchman with assurances that he would get a regular start in North London. Hindsight is a wonderful thing in football, isn't it? And the talk there is of the start that Muani has had at Juventus, which has been very good. Sometimes it just works out. You looked at João Felix scoring on his debut for AC Milan from Chelsea. How Chelsea could do with a creative player right now. Not one shot on target in the game against Brighton the other night. And Jadon Sancho failing big time. We've obviously had all of the jibes on Jadon Sancho and everything about Chelsea. But Chelsea struggling right now. Arsenal getting by yesterday. They got a 2-0 win. Hard fought. Moreno getting the goals there. Double for him in a makeshift forward role. He's done well there. And Arsenal have closed the gap on Liverpool. I keep putting them down and they keep fighting back. Arsenal are still in there. And obviously it's only Leicester and Leicester. And I say that with all respect about Leicester. Van Nistelrooy parked the bus yesterday and they were competitive, Leicester. Deserved more, I thought, out of the game. But Arsenal found a way. Will missing out on the likes of Muani, like the paper said this morning, catch up with Arsenal later down the line. Look, Moreno is not a number 1 striker. Waneri is not a number 9. They are going to struggle. Have they got enough? I think bigger games will catch up with Arsenal. I think that's what will do them in the Champions League. And I think this is why they won't win the Premier League. And I do think they've missed their chance. All they needed to be was consistent a little bit more this season. City have fallen away. I don't think they're going to catch Liverpool. I think Liverpool are better. I think Liverpool are going through their little bit of a shaky patch right now, but they're still ahead, even with this shaky patch. Nobody's dislodging Liverpool, and that's what we need to remember. If they win against Wolves today, I think everything that's happened in the week will just be put to bed, but there are big games coming up, obviously, for Liverpool. They have to play Newcastle, they have to play City. I think that's back-to-back in the Premier League, so realistically, you look at the game with Wolves today, they need to win it. But Arsenal just doing their job. And you know what? If they stay within 5 or 8 points, third to last game of the season, Liverpool against Arsenal. That could be absolutely huge. But yes, Mawani is doing well. Arsenal had the chance to sign Mawani like many Premier League clubs did, but nobody committed to it. And when you look back on transfer windows gone by, it's like, for instance, United could be looking back on it now and saying, why didn't we get cover in? Why didn't we bring somebody else in? You just never know what's going to happen. That's the problem. United should get him for the rest of the season. Who's that on? I don't know who that is. Corinthians says, Kaz is probably hoping you do lose your voice for her game. I can imagine you on the touchline shouting at her like those parents shouting at the kids. No, I'm not like that, to be honest. I'm not like that on the sidelines. I'm very, very professional, mate. I'm very am. That doesn't sound very professional, does it? But no, yeah, Jeffrey, I'm half asleep still. Thoughts I heard Adam say he was. I was what? Who's to say Pogba can even play at the top level? He's been out for so long, says Leo. It's true. It's true. Arsenal would be a team if they had a decent striker. Yep, Jonathan, they 100%. Man United Planet says Pogba thinking he can walk into a top club at 32 years old next month after failing a drugs test is laughable. He's dreaming, and if we go for him, all bets are on for United to be relegated. Big risk that. I don't think United will. I'm Pogba. Thanks for that, Showski. Thanks for telling me what that was. Yeah, no, I mean, Arsenal, striker, it'll catch up with him. City are in exactly the same spot. Say, for instance, like we just talked about, City's charge without Haaland is different to Arsenal's because City have got players there. Mamouche steps straight in, and he's a quality striker. This is the recruitment that I think Arsenal fans wish they had done. This is what they should have been doing, I feel. And I think they're ruining the opportunities. I do. I think they're a little bit gutted now that they didn't go out and just get a striker. I mean, opening the free market, I don't think there's many people there. Free agent market right now. I mean, for instance, let's just search it up just to see. I'm just going to check it out now. Now what? Let's see. Free agents right now. Is there anyone here that can do a job? Let's just see. Anyone that stands out. Ben Yedder. Oh, God. No, it doesn't look like anyone decent. I'm just running through them now. Brandon Williams is a free agent. Anyone can take him. Wow. Can't believe he's still not got a club. Isaac Success. We all know who he is. Oh, no, no one really stands out. Just looking through the free market right now. It's not something you want to. I mean, Diego Costa at 36. Go for Diego Costa? I don't even know where he is right now or what he's doing. That is crazy. Carlos Vela. Some old school names on that free agent list right now. But no, I think it's a chance. I think it's a big risk. I don't think Arsenal would go into that market. I really don't. I don't think it's right. And I don't feel like anyone is even going to think that risking that. You would rather bring in one of your academy players. I mean, United are in a situation right now where we are looking at what we can do with our academy players in filling the void left by Ahmad and other players as well. It is what it is. You have to just make them right calls in the summer. You have to have the right squad. It's the balancing having a big squad compared to a slimmer squad. And it's like if Isaac if Isaac was out for Newcastle right now, season over. It is. It's sad to say that because there are some quality players at Newcastle, and their poor performance yesterday was not a Newcastle performance. It wasn't. They were completely off, and they've got the sort of blank, like the brick wall, not the blank wall, the brick wall in front of them when it comes to playing at the Etihad. They just cannot do it, and it is now, I feel, at that stage of the season, like we said before with the injuries, important that recruitment has been right. And City have just about covered themselves, I feel, and got it right in January. Otherwise, if the situation with Haaland is worse, I think they're gone. I really do. I think they are gone. But yes, Anthony Gordon has also been talking about making his feelings clear on Liverpool after failed £80 million transfer. That rumour was flying around as well. I don't think he ever wanted to go. He has been heavily linked with Liverpool. I just don't see it, to be honest. I don't see Newcastle right now in letting anybody go at any stage. I don't think they can afford to let any of their top players go. It's like you got Bruno Guimaraes, you got Gordon, you got Isaac. You've got so many crucial players for Newcastle right now in that team. I just don't think they can afford to let players go. I really don't. And it's, for me, looking at it now, Newcastle's season, Aston Villa's season, Chelsea's season, it's all going to come down to their key players staying fit. I mean, Nicola Jackson, for instance, at Chelsea, and now Chelsea have let Felix go. You've got Nkunku stepping in right now. You can clearly see the problems that Chelsea have got. Again, not investing in a proper striker. The only hope that you've got for Newcastle is that Isaac stays fit. They have got a striker fit. And I think it's the teams that have got the strikers missing that are the ones that are going to miss out going into the summer. And that, I feel, is why I'm trying to make my mind up about all of them right now, because Aston Villa should have enough with what they've got available, but they're just poor. Newcastle, I think their eyes are on the final. I think once the Carabao Cup is done, I think Newcastle will start to move forward again. City, I don't know. Again, they're just inconsistent. The one known is Liverpool. Liverpool have avoided injuries better than anybody this season so far. Season before was bad. This season they've done well. All of the forwards have been pretty much available. We've even seen Jota more available for Liverpool this season. He's one of the most injury-prone strikers out there. But yeah, I mean, whichever way you look at it, it's all going to come down to somebody making a charge on Liverpool. And I just don't feel like there's any team there that's in the position to do it right now. I really don't. I mean, there are players there. I mean, when you look at Arsenal and what was available, they could have gone for Vlahovic. They could have pushed the boat out with somebody else. Would you have not gone for someone like Kluivert? I think it was Thierry Henry who was talking about Kluivert from Bournemouth and why they didn't look at him. There was options there for Arsenal, but I think the ship has sailed, and I don't think they're going to be able to bring anybody else in. I really don't. And they're not going to bring anybody else through, I mean, from their squad. I don't think there's anyone there. Looking at it, I was listening to something on the radio the other day about Arsenal's academy players coming through. There isn't anyone that can really step up. And it is just makeshift football again. Putting players in positions that really don't fit there, but just making do with what they've got. And that's because of poor transfer windows again. Like, go buy a striker. How many years have Arsenal needed that number one striker? And I think Arteta's time will run out, because City will be better than Arsenal again next season. And they needed to make it happen. They needed to make it happen this season. And they've missed out. It's as simple as that. I don't believe that Arteta will be given the time. I don't, because you can challenge and challenge and challenge, but if you don't win the trophy, then everybody gets bored of it. Liverpool will destroy Newcastle. They have that man Salah, says Leo. Jota wasn't really influential at all. No, Jota is a quality striker. I would take Jota at United tomorrow. And to have him in reserve for what Liverpool have got already, that's why they will win the league. That's the point I was making on that one. Kanate, Trent, Elliott, we had our share. I get you saying, Banjo, but definitely not compared to other clubs. That you got away with it a little bit more this season. I think you've had your big ones actually available more often. So I feel, don't get me wrong, I think Liverpool will win the league. I just don't think there's anyone, and what I've said in all of that there with the strikers, the form of all of the other teams, there's no one shown any form of consistency that convinces me that they will be good enough to challenge Liverpool this season. I don't. I really don't. But that is ultimately where we're up to with it. I think Liverpool will win the league. Poll that's running right now. Who is in the worst predicament? Spurs or Man United? The majority is saying United, 64%. We have a super chat in from Leo. Cheers, Leo. Adam, question for you. If we can't get Osimhen or Gyökeres, would you take a chance and get Vlahovic? He's a great player. No, because I don't think we're getting him on his wages. He's on astronomical money at Juventus, and that was a suicidal contract that Juventus gave him. If he's willing to come and play for under a certain amount, he might be a striker we could look at. I think United's eyes are on probably the bargain basement. I think we were probably looking at maybe a Jonathan David or a Liam Delap type of player. I think both of them could come into Manchester United in the summer. I think you've got a 10 and 2 9s there in 2 players, if you get what I mean with that. A bit of versatility, better players than what we've got, yes, on both accounts. I think that's where United are going with it. I really do. Thanks for the super chat, Leo, by the way. Love that, mate. 62 likes in the bag. Keep them coming in, everybody. Make sure you have subscribed to not Forever United TV. Yeah, you can subscribe to Forever United TV, the other channel, but subscribe to Football Talks as well. We are creeping up to 4,000 subscribers. Just started the channel this year, so anybody coming in, thank you so much as well for supporting the club. Someone's just quoted the whole Liverpool squad in terms of, I don't know, is that injuries maybe? But no, come on. They haven't had it as bad as everybody else. They really haven't. At least you actually got fit strikers available right now. Right, okay, just checking through everything else. Do you know what? It's probably the morning that hasn't got loads of news. I think the biggest story today is what is to come. United versus Spurs. I think that's the story. Everybody's talking about what is actually happening at United and Spurs right now. And like the poll says there, like who is under more pressure? Does Ange Postecoglou lose his job if he loses today? If United lose today, United drop into 15th in the league, which is the worst in Premier League history at this stage of a season. It's horrendous. But I think that is the main story. Like, who is going to be the biggest flop? Who is flopping the most today? That's what we've got to say. Is it United? Is it Spurs? I think the poll is up there right now. The worst predicament is 64% that you say Manchester United right now in terms of it overall. But as for today as a result, I honestly could not give you a prediction. I've got no idea how today is going to go. It is such a difficult one to call because of the situations with both clubs, both managers and both teams. Yes, Spurs have got some big players coming back. Maddison, Vicario, Undogi coming back for them. United obviously missing Ahmad, Collier, Mainu, Agate, all out as well from our topping up our injury list from the ones that have been out longer term. I've got no idea how today's going to go. I really don't. I'll be back on YouTube later on the warm-up show around about 12 o'clock for that one as well, everybody. So make sure that you tune in for that one. United Planet says, if Tottenham lose, the manager is sacked. If United lose next week, ticket prices will be at 152 quid. Don't even go there. It's not even a laughing matter. United and Spurs in a race to the bottom, says Jonathan. Is it a 6-pointer? Is it a 6-point relegation fight? I mean, Ipswich is showing signs of life. I mean, I'm worried, like, when you look at the table and you look at, like, Wolves, if they get some results together, they're going to drag us into that mix as well. A couple of wins for United just move us completely away. Look, we can move up to 12th. Woo! If we win the game today, which is a little bit better. But honestly, I'm completely open to today. I cannot make my mind up where the game is going to go. I really don't. I think Spurs have the advantage, having beaten United twice already this season. They've got United's number. We've conceded 7 to Spurs in 2 games. And to lose to Spurs 3 times in a season is bad. But that is a real reality today for Manchester United. Adam, United, Chelsea and Arsenal did not do much in the Jan window, and now they are paying for it in no depth. And in the summer window, we will go cheap players and free. Probably, Peter, it's needs must at the moment for United and for Spurs. But today, we will see, won't we? We'll be talking later anyway. I'll be back on FUTV at 12 o'clock. That's the next show lined up for the day. That is the morning shift over, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for new members, any new subscribers as well to the channel. All of your comments as well. That is everything that's going on. I think the main stories now are going to be developed over the next few hours. Let's see what happens. Big game for Liverpool against Wolves. Massive game for Spurs and United. We'll have it all covered over on FUTV throughout the day as well. On Big Up as well. Make sure you're there for the warm-up, for the watch-along and the warm-up later on. And wish us luck. Kaz, quarter-final today. Winton Wanderers ladies, here we go. Let's see if we can get into the semi-final as well. And have a good day all around. But until then, I'll see you all later. Have a good one, people.